Welcome back to another video. For those of you that are new here, my name is Felicia, and in this video I would like to share with you my story of how I ended up in over $170,000 worth of debt by the age of 25, and because I bought a house by the age of 26, I was in over $300,000 worth of debt. Like, it's insane. I'm laughing now because I paid the majority of it off, but I paid everything off except for mortgages. But like, it's insane. It's hilarious. Now, it wasn't funny then. I was stressed to the max. Anyway, so I'd like to share with you just my story and like chat a little bit with you in hopes that by me sharing my story that it will encourage some of you. So first of all, let's talk about mistake number one, money mindset. So when I was growing up, I would not say that I was like poor to the fact to where we went hungry, because we didn't. But when you compared my mom's salary to the poverty line of America, we were definitely below it. And so my mom raised me, my brother, and my sister. And my father, we would spend weekends and holidays. We spent quite a bit of time with my dad too. So my dad had remarried, and I just kind of learned two different mindsets whenever it came to money. For example, with my mom, I kind of learned, and I'm not saying that she sat down and like this is what she taught us, but this is what I observed through experience and just living the life. Like, this is my take on what I gather from there. So I kind of learned a scarcity mindset for sure. And then with my dad, I learned that because my dad is such a smart man and he ran like so many businesses, I learned how to make money, spend money, and it's okay because you can just make it again. So I definitely, my money mindset just wasn't, no one taught me about money. We didn't talk about it. Like, it was a period of time where not many people talked about money, especially the way that they do now. I just want to kind of acknowledge it, because sometimes when you make a video, just sharing 10 minutes of your life, like, people automatically assume, people make assumptions. And in this video, I am not blaming, especially when you're talking about things that you've outgrown or things that you've changed about yourself and you're just kind of expressing your growth. People automatically assume or start to blame the person that taught you these things. And I just want to be very clear, like, I am not blaming anyone in this video. My parents did the best that they could do at the time, and they used the knowledge that they knew at that time. So anyways, now that we've gotten that out of the way, I will say that growing up, you know, with my mom, she raised my brother, my sister, and I. So being a single mom, I would definitely say what was modeled to me was a scarcity mindset. And then also growing up with my father, who ran multiple businesses. My father's such a smart man. He knows how to make money, but my father also knows how to spend money. And it hasn't been until here later in life that he's kind of learned to do things differently. But when I was growing up, I learned how to make money, spend money, and it's okay because you can just make more money, right? There was no teaching as far as like paying off debt, investing. There was none of that going on at the time when I was growing up. Now, they both matured a lot, but at that time, that's what was modeled to me. The second mistake, I think, the second thing that contributed to me ending up in the amount of debt that I did was school of choice. So I went to high school in Florida, small town in Florida, and I knew that I wanted to become a physician. At that time, I wanted to be a pediatrician, right? I wanted to be in a profession that helped people because I truly love helping people. And when I graduated from high school, number 2 in my class, I knew that I wanted to go to the best school, because what was always kind of taught to me was that, you know, being, let's just be honest here, black, being African American, female, whatever, like, there was no room to be mediocre, basically. Like, I needed to be the best of the best. So in that, I chose a private institution. I chose University of Miami, and it was with the assumptions that I needed to go to the best school. And in my mind, as a 17, 18-year-old, that was the best school. Okay. Anyways, so no one was there to teach me the difference between private and public education. I did receive quite a bit of scholarship funds, but it just did not close the gap between, like, let's say for instance, had I chose a public school in Florida, like FSU, University of Florida, I'm pretty sure I could have graduated like without student loans or with a very small amount. But because I chose a private institution, the amount of money, grants, scholarship funds that I was giving did not close that gap. So there was definitely some deficit, and it required me to take out student loans. Now, after my freshman year of college, I actually transferred to Marshall University, an out-of-state school in West Virginia. Still not making the best decisions, right? So now I'm paying out-of-state tuition. Then when I graduated with my bachelor's in athletic training, and I was looking at schools for physical therapy, and just to kind of insert here, so I got married in undergrad, I had my daughter in undergraduate, and at that time I kind of decided that I didn't know how to be the mom that I wanted to be and also go to medical school. So my next option was to get my doctorate in physical therapy. Also, let's just add in, I was also majoring in athletic training, so it just made sense, right? So looking at physical therapy schools, again, I felt that I needed to go to the best school that was available to me. So I chose University of St. Augustine in St. Augustine, Florida. Again, private institution. And this school did not take federal funding at all, at all. So I ended up taking out more student loans, and this time they were actually private student loans with interest rates of like 6, 7, 8%. But to be quite honest, I didn't even bat an eye at it, because I just automatically assumed that by the time that I graduated, like, I would be making bank. That didn't happen either. But I just assumed that I would be making bank, and it's not a big deal. I would just pay it off, right? So by the time that I graduated from undergrad, and also with my doctorate in physical therapy, I say the number 98,000, but that's only because that's when I first started counting. I'm sure it was well over 100,000, but let's just say, let's call it $98,000, right? And also my freshman year of college back at University of Miami, back to that scarcity mindset on campus, I was given credit cards for, like, I signed up for credit card offers just to get a free t-shirt. Like, it was the craziest thing. But back to that scarcity mindset, let's just say my freshman year of college, my brother and sister and my mom, like everyone in the family, they had the best Christmas ever. Like, I was buying I bought everything they could have ever wanted or dreamed. I went to Daily Mall and, like, I bought everything, the puffy jackets, name brand, everything. I went home and I literally walked in the door and I was like, ho ho ho, Santa's home. Oh my gosh, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? But I did it, you know, and it felt so good at the time. Like, to grow up from not having to then have, it was amazing. It really was. And then once I graduated from physical therapy school, you know, at the time I was not making the money I thought I was gonna make. I was actually, I think at the time I was probably around $60,000-ish. But still, 60K, and you hadn't been making anything, I was balling. I bought myself. I bought an Eddie Bauer Expedition, and there were 3 of us. Oh my gosh, I bought so many things. I bought a house. I shopped. I did all the things, because when you grow up with very little, you know, it's funny now, but like, I remember being in that situation, like, to finally have money and, like, to finally be able to buy food, all the food you want, all the clothes you want. Like, there were no hashtag goals. Like, I wasn't thinking about paying off debt, invested. You know, I even had, my student loans at the time were probably about like $1,200 a month. Yeah. But it didn't bother me because I thought I could afford it at the time. And that leads me to my next point. Number 3, I think the third thing that kind of contributed to it was the lack of financial literacy. Like, no one was teaching me about money. I had a doctorate, y'all, and I knew how to balance a checkbook, yeah, but I didn't know about like paying off my debt and how to manage my money. Like, I thought that as long as I could afford the monthly payments on things, that I could afford it. I didn't know about paying things in cash. Like, I just assumed that everyone had payments. You know, when you go to buy a car, the first thing they say is like, how much can you afford, you know, each month? Like, how much do you want to pay each month? Like, no one says, now I do, but now I question and I ask, what is the total cost of the car? But I wasn't doing that then. You know, so I really think the lack of financial literacy also contributed to me just kind of being in the position to where I was. And like I said, you know, time has gone by. I think I calculated, I have it here. I had like $98,000 in student loans, $15,000 in credit cards, over $40,000 in with 2 car loans. I had a timeshare that was like between $6,000 and $8,000. I had a personal loan that was over $10,000. And like I said, you know, I ended up buying a house like in 2007 when everyone was buying a house. Like, and then 2008 was the like things just kind of fell apart. I don't even know what I was doing, but this is just the beginning. Like, I will go through, I don't want this video to be too long, but I will make more videos and kind of share with you guys how I paid off this debt, how my money mindset changed, like how I had to grow up. I had to, you know, you can only, and if some of you resonate with kind of growing up in a household where you grew up with like a scarcity mindset, or you grew up seeing your parents spend a lot of money, you know, you can only blame your parents for so long. Like, at some point, you've got to grow up and you've got to take responsibility for yourself. If you want to make a difference, if you want to make a change, like, you truly just have to change the way that you think. There's so much information available on the internet, you know, through YouTube, through podcasts, through books. There is so much knowledge and information, and that's part of the reason why I rebranded this channel as Figuring It Out with Felicia, because that is what I'm trying to do. My goal, even though I started late, my goal is to figure out how to turn my entire financial situation around. My goal is to figure out a way to retire early, hopefully. Even though I started late, I'm still wanting to retire early. I'm trying to change the family tree for my family, change the legacy. You know, we're trying to figure out a way to send our daughter to college so that she doesn't have the student loans that I had. Teaching her now at 16, well, actually we started before, but even at 16, how to budget, how to manage money, the difference between assets and debts. And, you know, like, just, guys, just because right now you may be in a ton of debt, like, it's not over. And I really thought that I would pay Sally Mae off in the 20 to however many years that she gave me. Like, I didn't know that there was a different way to live. And I know that I'm not the only one. I know that there are other people out there that, you know, I told you guys in a previous video like how I dealt with like self-worth issues, and honestly like feeling as if I needed to go to the best schools, as if I wouldn't be enough just by going to a public school. You know, there's so much that I plan to share with you guys. I just want you to know that you can do it too. Just like I paid off all of the student loans, and I paid off the credit card debt, the cars, all of that, how I changed my money mindset. I just want you to know that you can do it too. You're not alone, and hopefully this channel will be a resource for you to find encouragement and find inspiration, and hopefully we can form a community together to encourage each other, you know, to be better. Like, let's level up, and, you know, let's figure it out. Let's figure it out together. I'm here for you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.